The Eternal Spring of Mr. Ito, Chapter 14, Part 1. Sara hardly dared believe what she was thinking, but in the dim light she could see Fearless's tail wagging ecstatically. "Hi, hi," the voice continued. "Good Spirit, you have message?" Though thin and weak, the voice could only belong to one person. "Mr. Ito?" she quavered. "Mr. Ito, is that you?" The figure drew in his breath. "Namu Amida Butsu." The prayer echoed faintly from the shadows. "You ghost or kami of cave? Come where I can see you." She crept forward, edging around the miniature sea. He gestured feebly. I thinking, I dream, Sara-chan? It's me, Mr. Ito." He leaned into the moonlight, and she saw him fully for the first time. His hair hung to his shoulders, and his chin and neck were hidden by a thin gray beard. He wore white trousers, nothing else. His chest was sunken and shriveled, and just below the skin, his ribs showed, delicate as fish bones. He stretched out his hand, ivory in the moonlight. "I thought you were dead," she whispered. His eyes glowed deep in their sockets. "Soon, soon." He was almost singing. "I wait. The Lord Buddha choose time." I've missed you so, Mr. Ito. Everything's different since you went away." His sigh blended with the music of the wind outside. Backed by the wall, his stillness guarding his strength, he seemed a part of the place, the cave, the wind, the sea. "Sit, Sara-chan." She did, and Fearless stretched out comfortably beside them, as he used to in the garden. The cave wall behind her fitted like her sitting rock. She'd held so much inside for so long. In the peace of the cave, it all poured out. About Mary's bitterness and Uncle Duncan's fury and Ernie's mum. About her visit to Mrs. Ito and Helen. About the bonsai quince. Behind his closed eyes, he was not asleep. He was concentrating all his thoughts and energy on what she was saying, listening to her words and the feelings under her words, the way no one else ever did, absorbing her pain and bewilderment into himself. She finished, and the sound of the sea murmured through the cave. Hush, hush, hush. After a time, Mr. Ito said, "Herding will ease, Sara-chan, and quince will flower. Everything has moment. The Lord Buddha decide." As it had always been, Mr. Ito said little, but what he said contented her. They sat in comfortable silence. Eventually, Sara asked, "What have you been doing here, Ito?" "I waiting. I thinking. And praying. I bathing in sea each morning, each evening, to be pure when death come." "The Indians bathed in the sea to be pure." "Hai. Perhaps Kami of cave, ancient Indian, Sara-chan." His thin hands moved gracefully in his lap. "Indian, Buddhist, Shinto, Christian, men different in so many way, but men also same in many way. Same thing important to all. Family, happiness, good, evil, life, death. There was a short silence. "What happens after we die, Mr. Ito?" "That depend how we live, Sara-chan." "That's what our minister says. He says if we're good, we'll go to heaven. But what does that mean?" Ito thinking, heaven just a word. Mean perfect happiness. But perfect happiness come in different ways to different peoples. You Christian, Sara-chan, all same my daughter Helen. So you and she and all Christian peoples do what Jesus teach, to live good lives. After dying, if you deserve, you go to God. To Christians, to be with God is perfect happiness, is heaven. Do you think that's what happened to David Lloyd and Ernie's mom? They good peoples, and Christian God is loving God, who forgives small badness. Then, if they've gone to God, they're happy, aren't they? And Mary and Ernie and Uncle Duncan, they shouldn't be so sad. Is so, but they had no time for goodbye. Is hard to lose loved ones and face road of life without their company. So they sad for themselves, and grief take long time, show many face. He smiled at her. Death is only a doorway, Sara-chan, and we all pass through. For some, the wait is short. For others, long. It sounded almost as if Mr. Ito believed in God like she did, but he wasn't a Christian, and Mary had called the Japs heathens. Everyone knew heathens didn't go to heaven. Mr. Ito, what will happen to you after you die? Many road leading heaven, Sara-chan. Your God making peoples different, not all same. Why you think he makes so, if he want only one kind of peoples in heaven? Ito thinking, different peoples put in world to show different roads to heaven. But you're a Buddhist. Do you believe in heaven? Heaven, perfect happiness, something different to Buddhist peoples, is not a place, is called nirvana. In English, enlightenment. I don't know what enlightenment means.